Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Mindshare podcast. My name is David Greenspan, your host for today, and I'm excited that you guys are all here. This show is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems as well as REM Real Estate Magazine. Learn more about our sponsors by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. And while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of my book, The Ultimate Marketing Bundle, as well as learn more about our one-to-one coaching and keynote speaking. Today's episode is number 258. He brings nearly 30 years of industry leadership, propelling his brokerage to the forefront of the RE/MAX network. And under his guidance, RE/MAX Hallmark has become the largest independent residential real estate firm in the network, boasting an annual sales volume of $19.4 billion and a network of over 2,000 agents. A seasoned broker, business owner, and astute investor, he identifies opportunities in any market condition. He has cultivated a top-tier operations team focusing on public relations, leadership, marketing, and technology. And he says, success requires self-discipline and drive. I believe there is no substitute for aggressive promotion and networking, a deep comprehension of market conditions, and honed negotiation skills. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare podcast is broker, owner, and COO at RE/MAX Hallmark Group of Companies, Mr. Steve Tabrizi. Steve, welcome to the Mindshare podcast.
Good afternoon, David. Thank you very much for a warm welcome. Wow, you definitely an impressive introduction. Thank you very much. But I couldn't do all of this without my amazing partners, Ken and Deborah. And I love both of them dearly. And truly, our collaborative approach, our identical mindshare put us in the place that we are today.
You know, from even the short conversation we had before we got on air, I was thinking the same thing. I like this guy's spirit, the attitude, the mindset around why certain things happen. And I got to tell you, I'm a true believer in it. I think karma is a real thing. I think that law of attraction is a real thing. I do believe that give and you shall receive, but do not give to receive.
Correct.
Mindset is everything.
Well, mindset, everything. Attitude is everything. Your consistency, everything. Your attitude towards your personal life, your professional life, how you really challenge yourself on a daily basis. How can you become a better person? How can you give back? I always said, money will come. Money is important, but money will come. Don't look at the money aspect at the moment. Just look at how you can basically make a difference, make a change. And that's what we do every day. That's what I love about our job. And then once you're passionate about what you do every day, the rest is easy.
Hey, listen, man, one thing we do with our coaching clients, I know you guys just, the office just went through a big business planning session. Paradigm shift. As you just said, the money will come. Do the right things and the money will come. Paradigm shift is not to start the goal planning with how much money we want to make or how many deals we want to do, but instead to start the goal planning with what do I want to achieve in life? How many dates do I want to go on with my wife this year? How much time do I want to spend with my children? How much work do I want to put into me and myself, be it my physical as well as my personal development? And if I'm doing all of that, I should be in a better frame of mind. I should have a stronger mindset, which will then open up the opportunity, as you just said a moment ago, for the money to come.
Yeah.
So it's a paradigm shift, not putting money at the forefront.
No, you can't. You can, because then you become a robot.
Well, that's
We are not a robot. We have emotion. We have human elements attached to us. We are happy one day. We are angry one day. But we just need to focus on always a solution-driven end game. As Kenny, my business partner, he has a plaque at our office. We actually share, three of us. We don't have any office. We share one office. And Ken brought this plaque to the office probably about 15 years ago. And it says, at the end of the day, everything will be okay. So I love that. We have it right on beside our desk, our shared desk, and we take a look at it when we are in the challenges, when we are angry, when we are really furious, when we are basically maybe lost a good friends, or maybe there's something drastic happening on that day. We just take a look at it. We just say, at the end of the day, everything will be fine.
I've got a bookend to that, which sort of starts the day, and it's to out loud. And this is especially when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or you wake up and something just threw you off, and whatever it be, you just know that your headspace is in the wrong place. Is to out loud, with conviction, say to yourself, today is a new day. And you say it, and you've got to believe it. Because what it means, and what it means to me, is that no matter what just happened, or no matter what happened yesterday, if I continue to carry that baggage with me, I'm going to spoil whatever opportunity is coming my way today. And I have no idea who's about to call me, what email I'm about to get, what positive news I'm about to get that's going to put me into a great mood, into a happy place. So don't let what you were, dealing with yesterday carry through to today, which is very similar to what you guys are saying about, at the end of the day, everything will be okay.
I firmly believe every day is a good day. So depend how you want to feel about it, how you want to think about it. And it's, again, goes back to the mindset, goes back to your attitude. Do we end up every day with the happiest moment of that day? No. But the most important thing, I always look back. Really, I think COVID probably was the biggest sort of an element in our lifetime that really gave us a better perspective. We are blessed. We're healthy. We wake up in the morning, we're healthy. We really have no idea, in my humble opinion, that what other people are going through every day. We maybe sympathize with them when somebody going through their lifetime health challenge, particularly. Mm-hmm. We sympathize with people, but frankly, we cannot even describe it, what those people are going through. And that's why I tell myself every day, I said, you know what, I'm not a religious person, David. Mm-hmm. I believe in few pillars in my personal life: be a good person, give back, be kind. And that's what I taught my children. But when I wake up in the morning, I said, hey, I'm in a good spirit. I'm in a good health. The rest will come. The rest will be fine. I'll figure it out. At the end of the day, I'll figure it out. Sometimes it takes me a couple of days to figure it out, but I'll figure it out.
Hey, listen, it doesn't just happen overnight sometimes, right? But it is about a strong mindset. And that's exactly what it seems like you've got. Now, Steve, you're in a leadership role for a network of over 2,000 agents. You've been in the industry for nearly 30 years, been doing some phenomenal things. When you're meeting with new agents, you new to the business or just new to you, how can you tell whether or not they're going to succeed in this business?
Very interesting question. Our industry, I'm sure through your coaching program also you face this. I look at our industry, we deal with, I will call it adult people. People choose the real estate career 90% of the time as a second path of their career. I see maybe a small percentage right out of the high school. They said, look, forget it. I'm not going to university. I'm not going to college. I'm going to become a professional realtor. 90% of the realtor that we see on the market, they had some challenges in their personal career, or they were looking for a bigger opportunity, growth, financially, personally, freedom. As we call it in this industry, I want to be working for myself, being an independent contractor. So I see that's the biggest challenge that we have. We don't have sadly, unfortunately, a proper of a mechanism of the developing a professional realtor as a career-oriented realtor. Yes, they go to school, they get their license, but license is basically simply you are getting your regulatory guidelines and premises and understanding of how you should function legally in this business. I refer to it, you're getting a crash course of the contract law. That's what you're doing.
I have to double down with you on that. I have said that many times.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a conversation with Oria 15 years ago, probably, a specific individual there. And I said, you got this all wrong. He looked at me and says, how could you tell me we got it all wrong? I said, I'll tell you right now how you got it all wrong. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. If I were somebody within the industry in terms of the regulatory issues, I would make this a 2 years college program.
Right.
So people have understanding of the contract law, understanding of the negotiation, understanding of the communication, understanding of the business development.
Yeah.
The most important thing is business development. Back to your main question, how do I get it that people have it or don't have it?
Yeah.
When I will assess the people, are they coachable? Are they listening to the instruction? Our industry suffers 90% of the time because of that status of the independent contractor. Steve,
right.
David, don't tell me what to do. I was very successful in my previous business. I was very successful in my engineering background. I was very successful when I was an accountant. I was very successful and so on, so on, so. But we really neglect to understand real estate by itself is a very complex, fast evolving business. So why would you want to invent new sets of system and procedure? I'm all about, yes, bring your feedback, bring your nuances, bring your element of the creativity to what has been well established for successful people and make it better. The challenge with majority of the Asian is they start their first 2 years trying to be different and they are not coachable. When they are not coachable, they go a full cycle of the 2 years. And then they hit the brick wall and they said, what's next? First year, I love the first year. It's so rosy for everybody. Buy a house for themselves, sell a house for themselves, mom, dad, cousin, and that's it. Second year hit, and they realize, what's going on? What's happening with my business? What's happening with the market? And these are all because of the lack of the business development at the school. So they become a career-oriented professional. People, they just jump into this business without having no knowledge. The basic knowledge that they have, look at my age and how successful it is or is not. Look at my age and how easy job they do or they don't. And then that's it. They go register.
I couldn't agree with more with what you just said. I know, when I went back at the time and I said, you've got it all wrong. I said, you're going to get some incredibly, incredibly smart people that come into this industry that do incredibly well on an exam, that show very, very well with their numbers. We know that oftentimes you're the folks that are really good on the street and doing the sales and making relationships may not be your best book smart or written exam people. I'm not to say that you haven't got good and bad there, but to say overall, when I made the suggestion too, my whole thought was, look, I want to get my license. Excellent. Come in for a listing presentation on Tuesday at 7 p.m. What do you mean listing presentation? I don't know what to do. Yeah, but you got Google. Go figure it out. We'll see you at 7 o'clock. Did they show up at 6:45? Did they show up on time and prepared? Did they show up dressed and ready? Did they put their best foot forward? Yeah, perfect. You have potential. You got the listing. Show me your marketing plan. Come back on Thursday at 7 p.m. The resources are there. Go figure it out. Once I see that, yes, this person has the ability to do, you know what? I need to teach you the legalities now. You need to understand how to be compliant, operate under the regulatory framework that has been created for you.
Yeah.
Once we find the person that understands what they're doing, because you're bang on. People are coming into this industry thinking that there's all sorts of freedom and flexibility and finances. You got to run this thing like a business. Otherwise, you don't survive.
No.
How long? You said 2 years. Do you say that normally there's your time frame to be able to gauge whether somebody's going to survive or whether they're going to find success? Exactly. Is it a 2 year window? Is that
it's a 2 years window. Take a look at the majority of the people at the end of the 2 years. Stats with over multiple board across Ontario and across Canada shows that almost over 70% of the registered member are doing less than 3 transactions.
Yeah,
they are not full time. You cannot do this business of the real estate part time. It is absolutely impossible. Yes, you will have a traction of doing 3-5 transactions a year, but this is the highest level of investment for our consumers. And as I said, it's so complex. It's not 30 years ago. It's not 40 years ago. It's not a simple task of a listing a home. And we used to have the book from the TREB or other boards. This is the list of the listing. The complexity of the finance, the legal aspect, the representation, the disclosure, issues that the consumers face on a day-to-day for one simple transaction, insurance, how to deal with their lawyers, if it's a pre-construct, you name it. I can write probably 20 items that each items on a constantly is evolving, and we need to be engaged with those learning items. So 2 years comes, if you haven't survived, if you haven't really had a traction of at least on an annual basis, anywhere between 10 to 12 transactions, frankly, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? What do I need to do on my third year that I can have a better success in my career?
How would you define self-discipline and drive? And why do you feel that is so important to achieving success? And again, I take that from a quote that you had put out. I believe I found that was on the website there under your bio, which again, it really rang through to me. There was it's basically a 2-sentence quote that you put out there. And as I read through it, there's so many key words in there that I'm going to pull from today even, because I believe it's important for everybody to fully understand what you mean by that and why. So again, how would you define self-discipline and drive?
Okay, so we need to compare our practice, independent contractor, agent at a brokerage, to any other business, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If we truly want to be labeled as an independent contractor or / entrepreneur, I actually refer to the real estate industry. Majority of them are solopreneur. They are not entrepreneur. Yeah, right. They're not. So even as a solopreneur or entrepreneur, let's not argue on that part.
Yep.
What's the definition of an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur that is an individual that has a vision,
mm-hmm.
that wants to develop a successful business, a successful entity, take this business to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have your vision, once you have your roadmap, once you have your tools, once you have your system in place, if you don't have discipline, how are you going to get to the next level? What is discipline? This is the problem in our industry. Everybody is really overwhelmed by the word of the discipline. Discipline, I ask my agent sometimes, I said, can I ask you for just 2 hours a day? I beg you, 2 hours a day. Do not do nothing except be a consistent prospect. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to do nothing. I don't want you to read. I don't want you to go on MLS, browse the MLS. I don't want you to prepare a marketing material. I don't want you to answer a phone call. I don't want you to text. I don't want you to do nothing. I want to give you 200 names. I want, as you just said it, you said one contact conversation a day. Can you imagine this? How simplified you made this process for them? A recipe. You're giving them a recipe. I don't know how many people you got to dial, door knock, social media, DM, whatever you have to do. But can you have one conversation a day? And then we always challenge ourselves. Oh my God, I wish I was this and that. We look at successful actor, athlete, people in different industry. Stephen Jobs, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
I love his movie. When you watch his movie or when you read his bio, he believed that he can change the smartphone industry.
Yeah.
He believed that you and I, we don't need a computer. He believed that he can put everything into this and make a difference in our life. His engineers, they said, no, it's impossible. We need a big box. We need this, we need that. But he came back every day and he says, we can do it. Let's give it a try. We can do it. It took him 15 years from the Mac desktop of this size to now the one that you and I were probably using on this podcast. But what he had was the discipline of the mindset. is not first the discipline of your daily routine and activity. First is discipline of your mindset. I believe in what I know I can do, and it's doable. First, you plan it here. Every time I go to the office, I have crazy ideas with my partners. We go to our team. We say, we thought about this. They tell us, no, it's not doable. And I always says, I already planned it here. It is doable, but I'm not going to give you the recipe. I want you to figure it out. I know it's doable, but if you need my help to tell you how it's doable, gladly, I'll give you tips and tricks about it. And that's how you develop also a strong leadership team, strong support team. Can we achieve the vision and the mindset and the goal in the first day, second day, a month? No. But if we constantly start thinking about it, we move one brick at a time, and then we will build that foundation.
I have said that for a long time now. And I know I cannot pinpoint for you the exact day that it happened, because it was a progression over time for me when we talk about the mindset. Okay. And because I agree with you 1,000,000% right now. The mindset needs to be there. This is the same way that from the day that my kids were born, and this started right when my son was born, that day, you can do it. My wife looks at me, she goes, honey, he was just born. You think he understands you? I said, not now, but he will. And the you can do it is the empowerment and the mindset to say, don't tell me you can't. As you brought up Steve Jobs, and look, like him or hate him, I'll bring up Elon Musk, who, again, same thing. I'm going to land rockets on a platform in the ocean, and NASA and all of his staff laughed at him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Guys landing rockets in the ocean.
Yeah.
So again, the
but it's interesting. Yeah, sorry to interject you. He almost also bankrupted himself.
Listen, he went through a lot of turmoil.
Yeah, but he said he firmly believed that it's doable.
That's what it is, though, and that's where, like, again, and look, for me, a lot of this learning, again, like them or hate them, and there's many people we could talk about that way, right? Some of the most popular and successful of the successful. I want to know how. How did you do it? What did you do? And to what we're talking about right now, and this is the thing that most people, when they're not in this frame of mind, will not understand. It is about your mindset.
Yeah.
Your mindset has to be strong to believe it's possible. Otherwise, your mind will continue to tell you stories, continue to play tricks on you, and continue to tear you down or hold you back from what it is that you want.
Yeah.
Mindset is powerful. And then people say, well, so what do I do? Well, you gotta come up with goals, and you've gotta develop, and you've got to do things. And we've got obviously specifics that we provide to people. But then they go, but I really don't think that's going to do it. Well, that's because you're not doing it yet. And when you start to do it, and you use this word, and it's one of my favorites, consistency. When you start to do it consistently, you will achieve. And then over time, and that's why I say to you, I can't pinpoint the day.
No.
But I know the change happened.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Human nature, we want instant gratification. We want instant, oh, David, I'm doing it. I'm making my 5 phone calls. David, it's 3 months. Nothing has happened. Hold on a second, 3 months? I am a very proud Canadian immigrant. I vividly remember when I came to Canada. I love Canada. I'll die for Canada. I remember I came with nothing, but I had a vision. Mm-hmm. And I never forget. I kept saying to myself, I'm going to build a beautiful life for myself. I'm going to build a beautiful life for myself. Was it a fear factor from where I come from? Was it something that maybe during my childhood I was missing, and something that I dreamed to have? All those things are respected. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm sure there are some down deep, some element to your drive, for everybody's drive, but you can't give up. And if you be consistent, the word consistent, I use it every day. We will. You
use consistent. Consistently.
We will win. You use consistently. We will win.
Listen, it's the magic ingredient to achieving anything we want in life.
Exactly.
It really is, and I do believe that the daily routine is important to that. I do believe that by having, the right things that we do to start our day, to end our day, these things will start to paint the picture around who we are, how we think, the mindset we carry, and therefore what we achieve. And as I said to you before we got on air, not even what we achieve financially, but what we achieve overall.
Yeah.
And that's where the special moment is. And that again, for me, when we talk about success and achieving, as we read the Steve Jobs and Elon Musk's and everybody else that has hit those levels, and you go, how? You start to find that commonality, and it really does come back to the strength of a mindset.
Well, the mindset also by default, we earlier talk about, can you be a robot or can you be a human with the emotion of understanding everything? Once you have a strong mindset and you have a routine, you just brought the word routine, a schedule on a daily basis, it becomes part of your DNA. You want to call it, I'm a robot? That's okay. You're a robot. But you wake up in the morning. I always ask people, when you wake up in the morning, what do you do? Go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you have your coffee. How come you don't give up that routine? But you give up so easy the routine of your business development. Just tell me why you don't leave the home without brushing your teeth, without having a coffee, but you left the home without the coffee, but you make sure you go to the first drive-through, have the coffee. So that's your habit that you develop. So you need to create a similar habit with your business. You want to call it robot, you want to call it obsession, you want to call it addiction, whatever it is.
Hey, there's a reason for addiction, though. It's because it is a habit. And we know that a habit, trigger, action, reward. And it's the reward as to why we keep going back and what triggers us to take the action. And then there goes the evolving circle. So how do we kick that? It's about figuring out what's triggering us.
Exactly.
Now, speaking to that, as we talk about triggers right now, we know that when it comes to, again, self-discipline, mindset, success at this time, we're in a market that hasn't been as active as it was over the past few years.
Yeah.
I'll ask you, what kind of market do you feel we are in right now? Is it a good market? Is it a bad market? I've had some people say it's a very opportunistic market. Our friend, I'm pretty sure it was our friend John D. Michel who said to me, it's a professionals market. What's your take on it?
So the number one question would be, what are we comparing this market to? If we are comparing it to the best historical market of the 2021 and 2022, everybody is basically, I use the term, everybody's disappointed. Everybody says, oh my God, I am down 20%, 30%. But I like the way John referenced to it. If we are asking full-time, seasoned, professional realtors, how do you feel about the market? Their word is very simple. Is balance? Is it steady? It's consistent? Yes, Steve, it requires more conversation, more contact, but also I like the words opportunity. We see tremendous opportunity for those professional practitioners in this market because now they really provide their value proposition. And what's their value proposition? Educating properly the consumers to make the best decision for their lifetime investment. But I also go back around the agent negativity when they said, oh my God, I don't have a great year. I go back, I said, yes, you know why you don't have a great year? Because you got so complacent and used to listing a home and selling it in 3 days. You got so used to this nonsense of the presenting to a buyer, if you don't buy this tonight, you're out of this opportunity. And now you are not willing to put enough hours and time there. And more important than anything else, when you don't have that mindset and frame of the talking differently with the consumers, that means you are not investing in your own self-development. Of course, you're suffering. But if you look at your number, you're not suffering. But in your mindset, you think you're suffering. Right. I had this discussion. I'm in Ottawa today, visiting our Ottawa region. And I had the discussion in Ottawa with one of our agents. I said, let's take a look at your numbers of this year and last year. You're actually above the market average. But the perception that you have created, the picture in your mind, that because this buyer spent the 20 days, 30 days with you, you think the market is tough. No, the market is not tough. The market is not tough. The market is the real ideal market.
That's right.
This is the proper market.
That's right. We used to see, I mean, we had a time where there was double-digit interest rates. We had a time where, similar to now, and I think even now we're still in a better shape than we were, but we saw 60, 90, 120 days on market, never mind 60, 90, and 120 seconds on market. So to sit there and think that this is not good, I see lots of opportunity. Like, for example, I believe there is so much opportunity looming, and this is something that I've been having this conversation for a number of years now. Where are people getting all the money? Where's the money coming from? And I've heard all sorts, gifting and immigration and whatever. Okay, fine. But I don't know how that there's that many people with all this exponential dollars. So I do believe that the banks found ways to give people money. And of course, with interest rates being, at all-time lows, it was easier to get money. Now we've got people that went in over their heads, bought houses for prices that were, I believe people flocked like sheep following each other, doing because other people were doing. I really do. And I believe that there were people that are going to be just fine, but I also believe there's a lot of people, and this is, again, my own opinion. I could substantiate it, but, they're coming up for renewal in the next 2 to 3 years. They're coming up for renewal in the next year. And those people, some of them in the next 12 to 36 months are going to need to get out of their homes. They're just going to have to, because it's just not affordable the way it was 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever it be. To there, again, I see the opportunity. What do you think of that? Do you see a lot of people potentially losing their homes, having to get out because of affordability or lack thereof as we approach the next sort of 12 to 36 months?
It's all depend on the time frame.
Sorry, Steve, I apologize. I'm not trying to paint doom and gloom. Instead, and for everybody tuned in, I want you to fully understand what we're talking about right now. I believe there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
And to Steve, what you just said, and sort of totally cut you off after I asked that question. What we do today is going to prepare us for what opportunities come to us tomorrow. That discipline that you talk about, that we talk about.
Yeah.
What am I doing today? How consistent I am with having that conversation, building the mind share, getting out and talk. That will set me up for tomorrow.
Yeah. In my company, I am known for doing the market report for a company. I'm not an economist, but I do believe, because of my education background, numbers, they don't lie. I agree with you. Depend on a time frame that you purchase your home and how you leverage yourself. I 100% agree with you. There were people in 2021 when the federal government dropped the interest rate literally to zero, and the mortgage rate, they were around in the range of the 1.2 to 1.8. They bought properties, not only as a principal resident. There was a massive sort of a tendency, let's buy a cottage, let's buy this, let's buy that. So they leveraged themselves. They basically stretched themselves so much that you cannot even imagine. So what's going to happen in the next 2024, 2025? The interest rate will adjust. The interest rate will come to a reality of the interest rate, which is the mortgage rate is they will probably land in the range of anywhere between 3.5 to 4.5 versus being now 5 to 6.5. But it's still, you're coming from a mortgage rate of the 1.8 to the 4%. It's a huge difference on a monthly payment.
Sure.
Particularly if you have a large chunk of the mortgage. So what's going to happen? It will be a real reallocation of the assets of the real estate. Some people, maybe if they have a home in the area of the province that the average price is $1.2 million, and if they can remove some of their appreciation or asset or equity, they may to relocate to an area that is now 700,000. Why? Because that's where they can afford, or 800,000. Are we going to see a lot of Canadians lose their home? I don't think so, because for only one reason. If we didn't have the pent up, everybody talks about supply.
Yeah.
For the last 10 years, everybody talks about the supply. Federal government, as of even latest yesterday, they came up with the budget of the 15 billion, 20 billion rollout in 2025. So we're going to ramp up the supply. But nobody ever challenged the federal government about the demand. We are creating this monster for ourselves by misalignment of the policies of the federal government for immigration and the supply policy of the provinces. As I said, I am a proud immigrant. I have nothing against the immigrants or newcomers, but Unfortunately, birth rate in Canada is a negative territory. Unfortunately, we need skilled workers, doctors, nurses, engineers, you name it. We need so many people coming. So what's going to happen? Those people that, for example, they stretch themselves too much, now they have to relocate to somewhere that they can afford. There will be a buyer for that relocation of their sale. Are there going to be some people power of sales, or some people basically going to go through tough times with the bank? Yes, we will have. Yep. But percentage will be very, very limited. But one thing that I'm really happy, I've been doing this now for almost about 28 years. So time flies. Yeah. I remember vividly. Yeah, it's like yesterday, man.
Yeah, right.
It's almost as like yesterday.
I know.
I remember vividly that basically real estate market in Canada on a global map was defined on only 3 cities: Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal. I'm very happy that really we are diversifying and spreading the real estate wealth across the country. We got Ottawa thriving in the last 6-7 years. We got London, Ontario, Kingston. We got now back to the Alberta, Montreal. Montreal for years was stagnation of the growth. Montreal and the Quebec province is really growing. So we really now seeing that a spread of the wealth of the real estate across the country, and we are causing it by default. Maybe the Torontonian, they don't like to hear. I'm sure you and I, we love the Toronto. Both we live in Toronto, sure, and we die for Toronto. But we are now seeing people saying, do I want to live in this city?
Listen, it's expensive. It's expensive. As you were talking about that and bringing those numbers, I was pulling up a quick article here that I just read this morning or yesterday evening, probably both. But CMHC estimates the country needs to build 3.5 million more housing units by 2030 to meet explosive demand as the country's population expands, thanks in part to record immigration.
Yeah. So this is, if I may finish this part.
Yeah.
What is happening also? Unless, sadly, the immigration policies are really designed for 90s. There is no regiment policies that, yes, you can come to Canada, but you cannot be in Toronto. You have to go for certain years somewhere else.
Right.
But what is happening right now, the wealth is spreading. The companies which provide businesses are also saying, do I need my operation be in the downtown Toronto?
Right.
Maybe I go to Barrie. Maybe I go to Ottawa. Maybe I go to Alberta. COVID also taught businesses something that everybody says, no, back to work.
Yeah.
Frankly, impossible. Trust me.
No, things have changed.
The virtual work, which is maybe 3 days from home, 2 days from the office, or whatever hybrid model, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be here for a lifetime.
Oh, yeah. It changed us. The same way the smartphones changed us. COVID changed the way society operates.
Yes.
So, granted. Absolutely.
So are we going to go through a major tough time in 2024? No. I was talking about this also this morning. Canada gets really lucky every time there is a blips. And I asked my audience this morning, what do you think our lucky charm is for the 2024? And the lucky charm for us in 2024 is the U.S. election. The U.S. election always cause
more people wanted to move here.
Well, no. The current president's gonna do a stimulus packages and gonna lower the rate, and in order to maintain the very normalized spread between the Canadian dollar and U.S. dollar. And because they are our biggest partner, we will see the positive impact on a Canadian economy. So we end up lowering the rate by how far, no one knows. But I think the Bank of Canada this time is quite aware of the consequences of if they drop the rate too fast, the floodgate behind the gate,
right,
which is immigration people, it will explode again. No, they're going to really drag their feet and slowly drop the rate. And that's what we want. We want a very normalized, balanced market. We don't want a seller market. We don't want a buyer market.
And then there it is. Because again, when we, for the people that are waiting, that are on the fence right now, as they look ahead to the spring market going, I'm going to wait for the spring market. Hey, if rates come down, prices are probably going to go up. Demand is going to keep going. So it needs to be a slower build up. And again, as we look at today, what makes a top producer, looking at the market factors, looking at the self-discipline. I know, again, we mentioned that you just did a business planning session. And I know we're into the thick of things with all of our clients between the training groups and the one-to-one coachings. What message do you have for anybody, I guess, maybe that hasn't worked on their 2024 plan, knowing what we know, going into what we know for 24, looking at the market where we're at right now? Anything that maybe added advice or something that they should take into consideration today as they listen to what we're talking about here, looking at the factors, looking at how important discipline is, looking at what it takes to really succeed?
Yeah.
What would you say to anybody that hasn't actually started working on that?
So, number one, this is the year. I have a few tips for them, advice for them. Educate yourself and become an educator. Why you need to educate yourself?
Double down. I like that.
Consumers are not taking your advice just as a face value or real estate market proven historically going to be good. That's not enough. We need to provide them facts. Have data-driven conversation with your facts, with your supporting documents. We talk about the technology. Mm-hmm. Leverage the technology to connect with people faster, not use the technology to connect with people. Leverage it to be in front of them faster.
So here's a question, because I'm with you 100%, because I talk all the time about communicate to educate. It's important. Don't just communicate, because right now it's us against the media.
Yeah.
Right. The media is going to spin doom and gloom. They're going to talk about negativity. They're going to give you all the negative headlines they can. And they're going to sink all of that into our consumers, our homeowners, our clients' minds. Yet we're the ones on the street. We're the ones with the knowledge. We're the ones doing it daily. We're the ones that can actually bring light to what that reporter who is not in this industry doesn't know, is reading a script. We can bring light and substance to that. So as you bring this up, and sorry, because I wanted to ask you that too. What do you suggest agents do to have a better comprehension? When you say leverage it, is it go to the news sources? Where can they go to get a better comprehension so that to what you're saying now, they have some substance they can take away and actually apply?
So read as much as you can.
Yeah.
The bad media, the good media, but try to pause with every article to really analyze the depth of the article. And don't be afraid to share even a negative article that has a massive traction on the market. And then everybody's talking about it on social media. You suddenly notice that everybody has an image caption and then tagline, the market is crashing, the bubble is bursting. You need to have the guts and the power and the knowledge to share that article, share that media, and actually talk about it from the point that what part of this article was wrong. That's what I do on a regular basis. I dive deep. I'll challenge the article with the what, not because I'm passionate about the real estate, with proven data that what they wrote. Consumers, they just pay attention to the headline. And we, as an independent contractor or entrepreneur, we cave in.
That's
we don't
right.
challenge him. We cave in. We don't challenge him. We go to our broker manager in the office meeting or our coach, David. We said, oh my God, did you read that article? And I'm saying, yes, I read it. What's your interpretation? The question is, what's your interpretation? And you will see the silence. The silence is basically, my interpretation is the headline, Steve, not the depth of the articles.
People are scared. There's fear, and I know this. People have fear around putting themselves out there. People have fear of what somebody else is going to say, fear around maybe being wrong. And I do believe, back to what you just said there, that if you do educate yourself enough and you do go and pull from 2, 3, 4, 5 different sources on that same topic, the good, the bad, the things you agree with, the things you disagree with, you're going to feed your brain with enough information that you can now come with an opinion.
Yes.
And a valued opinion, because you've got substance for it.
Yes.
to talk to it and open a conversation around it. Right?
Consumers have no clue.
That's right. They're focused on their days in a day.
They really have no clue.
That's right.
That you basically what's happening on the street, the reality of the street. In our mastermind in Toronto for a business planning, one of our outstanding agent that she's been around, her name is Joy Verde. Joy Verde has been around for years, very well-established agent. She actually brought a very good point. We were talking about the email marketing.
Yep.
So the news today in the article is the fixed rate of all the bank in Canada dropped by 0.27%. You know what's it? Joy brought to my attention. He says, I don't send that news to all my database. And I asked the question, I said, why? He said, it's irrelevant. It's only relevant to those people that they care about that drop rate.
That's right.
So she's very particular, picking right article, right details, sending it to the right people. That's what we need to do. We cannot be any more copy paste, and just do the mass email. We need to develop a sense among our clients that I am the expert in real estate.
Look, this comes back to the conversations, the communication that has been a theme throughout today's conversation with you and I, but around communication, education, talking to people. This is what it comes back to, and understanding that the more real conversations we have, the more real relationships we build, the more trust we develop, and that's where opportunities come from.
Yeah.
Now
then, if I may add this, I asked realtors, what's your job title? Oh, I'm a sales representative. I'm a broker. I'm a realtor. I said, no, you are real estate portfolio manager. It doesn't matter. Your client has a house.
Yep.
It's one portfolio which worth $500,000 or $1 million. So develop your mindset that's your new job title.
There it is again, the mindset. Now, you in that quote that I quoted, or that I quoted from you earlier on, there's another line in there. You believe there is, quote, no substitute for aggressive promotion and networking, end quote. Now, I got to say, Steve, I happen to love that. We call it building Mindshare. To that, though, we also know that buyers and sellers are trying to wait the market out, trying to wait for things to change. You know, and as we know that, and we talk about mindset, we talk about communication, we talk about really understanding who your client is and what you do for a living and how you help them. Over your 30 years in the business, and we talk even about the email marketing, maybe segmenting, what do you feel is some of the most effective marketing tactics to attract, call it new opportunities, and new opportunities could be from existing people in your database? But when you say about, again, the no substitute for aggressive promotion network, maybe a little bit more definition on that, but much the same. Maybe, you know, if you thought about what the most effective things are, what would you say to anybody right now?
I would say network, social, in person, not Zoom, not Facebook, not Instagram, in person, professional networking to learn from your peers, in person, clients networking to develop a relationship with your clients and provide information and educate them, and constantly do that. It's very interesting. I'm sure you have the stats. 74% of a seasoned agent, or I would call success in a real estate to me is a consistency. If someone makes for the last 30 years, every year $100,000, that's a success to me. You can make $1 million, that's a success to me too. 74% of the successful agent business come from a repeat and referral.
Absolutely.
They spend 5% or 10% of their marketing budget on that 74%. And I'm just saying, oh my God, they're giving you 74% of the business. And you just send them a happy birthday card or
no, you know what they do? Instead, they go to online leads and focus time and effort on online leads. And I call that playing whack-a-mole. Okay. Yeah. If you haven't got your referral machine under control, then don't be spending money over here.
Yeah. So wouldn't it be nice that you network, the word network from Michael, you network with these beautiful clientele the gold mine that you have, the gold mine that is being dedicated, loyal to you. Maybe not all of them every year transacted with you, but they cause 70% of your business. When was the last time a realtor had a one-on-one dinner with their entire database? Just plan it through the whole year. I'm taking you for a coffee.
Look, man, you know what? Here, okay, I'll go back to the top of our conversation here when we talk about getting into the business and the first year being, mom and dad and brother, sister, whoever the deals, and all of a sudden year 2 comes around. I remember when I first got in 17, 18 years ago, and I was talking to a broker, and I can still see myself sitting in his office. And I said to him, what do you tell your agents to do? And he told me this story. And he said, I tell them to really figure out, build a contact list. And I thought, gold, that's exactly what should be done. And I tell everybody now, if you don't have one, before you brush your teeth tonight, build a contact list. That's the most important thing you could do. Anyways, he tells me the story about this agent who came in. He says, Steve, I'm struggling. What do I do? He says, I told him to build a contact list. And he goes away and he comes back a few weeks later. He says, okay, I just spent all this money on these postcards. I sent it out to the neighborhood. I got nothing from it. What do I do? And Steve, this broker again, says, I didn't tell you to spend money on the postcards and the farming. I told you to build a contact list. Go do that. He says, okay. 2 weeks later, comes back, says, I'm out of money. I'm dead broke. I'm frustrated. I got no business. Nothing's happening. The farm didn't work. I did the postcards again. The broker says, we didn't talk about postcards. We talked about building a contact list. And I got to tell you, from that day, it rang through to me. And for the thousands of conversations that I've had in this industry over the past, 2 decades of being in this sandbox, 70 to 90% of our business will come from our contact list. Repeat and referral business. And I loved what you just said about the 5% of your budget. Pardon me, take that money, put it there. Because anytime somebody says to me, what should I spend on my marketing? And I say, well, let's look at your contact list first and let's start to break down where your business is coming from. And then we're going to put together a plan. Yeah, but how much should it be? I said, it's not the point right now. How much should it be? Right now, it's a matter of where's your contact list and what are we doing to get out to those people? And that for me is the biggest telltale sign of whether or not somebody's going to have success is 1, did you build it? 2, are you working it? Once you're doing that, hey, we can keep our costs way down. We can make our ROI way up. And our mindset is going to be in a great place because we're having the success that we're looking for.
Yeah. Your question on the screen, what makes a top producer a top producer?
Exactly.
Top producer built a contact list. You want to call it the sphere of influence, database, whatever label you want to give it.
I was going to ask you, what are some non-negotiables? Go for it.
Yeah,
I like this.
Yeah. So whatever you want to call it. But increase that bucket of names. And then every year, consistent with the positive attitude, keep plugging into that bucket and just keep shoveling the bucket. And just guess what? The rate of return on the contact list is 10% every year. You have 1,000 names, 100 people, they put their hands up. They said, let's have a conversation now.
That's it.
Out of the 100 people, guess what? 20%, typically 17%, typically said, okay, we like what we hear from you. Let's sign the dotted line. And you constantly doing that. And the goal of a top producer always has been, how can I increase my contact list? How can I increase my impersonal interaction with people? And they are not looking at the instant gratification because they are just building it as we go forward. And people, the story you shared, I did the flyers, I did this, I did that. No result. Instant gratification will not happen. It will not happen. People ask us, story of Hallmark.
Yep.
I said, we've been around for 41 years.
Yeah.
Up to 10 years ago. This is a true story.
Yep.
We didn't 10X. It took us 30 years
to become an overnight success, right?
To build a name, to build a reputation, to have a system in place, to have a right attitude and mindset of the partners. And then the last 10 years,
boom,
skyrocket.
We look at, again, the importance of mindset. We talk about what's making a top producer. We've brought up contact list and relationships the entire conversation today. Do most of the top producers, are most of them working with a coach or doing the self-development that we talk about is so crucial?
Well, you asked me this question. Where you perceived when you meet the agent first time, new or seasoned, are they going to make it or not?
Yep.
And I use the word, are they coachable?
Are they coachable? You're right. Yes, there we go. Full circle.
If you're not willing to be coached by your broker, by your peer, by professional coach like you, and the coaching, people come and ask me, they said, who is the best coach?
Yep.
I said, the best coach for you is the coach that you believe in their value proposition. Again, that means alignment of the mindset.
Yep.
I used to be a cold caller when I was practicing real estate. You can go around the block and you can do whatever you want to say. I hate cold calling. I do this, I do that. I don't care. I won't listen to you. I loved it. I did it. I made a fortune out of it. But I can't force you to be a cold caller.
This is what I say to people about door knocking.
Yeah. So pick a coach that more than anything else, on a personal level, you click.
Yes.
Second, when the coach tells you jump, you don't question it. You jump. I love soccer. I play soccer even at this age twice a week. And I tell people I love, obviously, because of soccer, I'm a big fan of famous Messi and other. And I said, do you think he became Messi overnight? Okay. He's 37 years old, but he worked when everybody left the field.
But would you argue that Messi is still working?
Right? Absolutely. He's still at the age of 37. When you watch him in the field, he is still committed to the game. He is not walking around. No, he is committed to support his team. But how he got there, there were coaches, a couple of very influential coaches in his career that he speaks about them constantly, and he says they make a difference. Basketball players, actresses, everybody needs a coach to develop a foundation of the business in their career. But also another things about the coaches. Evolve with the coaches. Every coach has a unique lane. They'll give you that unique lane. From once you are tapped, once you are good at it, ask your coach. Be honest with your coach. I love you. You made an impact in my business. You took me from here to here, but I'm missing in this element. Who do you recommend me go be on a coaching for this element? Coaching business is becoming very unique element. The coaches that they are successful are the coaches that provide that unique lane rather than be jack of all trade and providing all the advice. It's, as I said, this industry is so complex. Not even one coach can provide all the elements, all the tools, all the lanes.
Well, just like anything, you can't be everything to everybody.
No.
Right? But you find the people that you connect with. That's the people that you go work with, and you do what you can to leverage as much as you can in that time. And much the same again, when you look at the best of the best in any industry across the entire world, everybody relies on other people to help them get there.
Absolutely.
And it's about finding those people that you can really jive with that can help you be the best version of you.
Exactly.
Steve, the day is over. End of the day. How do you know it's been a successful day for you?
Loaded questions.
Yeah.
I know it's a successful day for me if by the end of the day, I have a roadmap and solution to my challenges of that day for the next day. I do not carry forward my pain and my suffering to the next day. I carry the solution to my pain and my suffering for the next day. I don't want to hear about, the drama. I don't want to hear the mistake I did. I acknowledge, I really work on a daily basis with a formula, which I learned a few years ago called AAA. So the first A, I acknowledge my success or my failure. Second A, I ask question first from myself. what could I have done better to 10x the success or to avoid the failure. And a third, I come up with the answer and a solution. And I would just move to the next day. So that day is good if I have a clarity. Okay, tomorrow I wake up, I had some misalignment with David about something, using you as an example. So tomorrow I have a clear roadmap how David and we're going to fix our disagreement, or we're going to actually 10x our success stories we just started together. And it's very important you value the people that you interact with them in a AAA formula. Yes, people come to you, they're upset. Yes, people come to you, they're angry. The first A, the most important A, you acknowledge them. You acknowledge them. You don't become on a defensive mode and you just defend your position. No, you acknowledge them. Once you acknowledge them, you broke that barrier of the people that won't be
animosity, maybe.
Animosity.
Yeah.
Oh, it create transparency. It creates speaking from the heart rather than speaking from the emotional reaction. That's for me, and that's what I do. I had lots of bad days, but also I accept it. I've lost agent, I've lost team, I have had value proposition that didn't go well. I had family challenges, business partner challenges, but I'll ask myself with the second A question: what did I do wrong that I could improve with the next?
Taking responsibility for our actions, right?
You got it.
Great answer, my friend. It's the second last question I always ask in the podcast to every guest is exactly that. How do you know it's been a successful day? And we are, I think what I said, 258 or 259 episodes, season 5. And again, my listeners know this well. Nobody ever talks about money. And it's to me, again, when we talk about, especially today, what makes a top producer a top producer? We didn't talk about money. We didn't talk about how much money you make. We talked about mindset. We talked about your daily actions. We talked about, what you're doing to feed your brain. We talked about how you appear to other people. These are the things. We talked about your discipline to be that level that they want to be in life.
Well, but talk about the money. I'm sure you agree with me. A lot of people say, oh, money, it's important in my life, but the money, it becomes the byproduct of your behavior, your action, your mindset.
Absolutely. And that's why I say, and again, don't get me wrong, I love money. I want more money. That's fine. But if I don't do the other things and I'm not in congruence with everything else I need to do in life, forget that. The money ain't coming.
No, it's not coming.
Steve, some final words of wisdom from you, my friend. Anything that you want to share with everybody, just your final words as we sign off here today to help them get out there, build some more mind share so that they can all get some more market share.
Wake up every morning, look at the mirror, look at yourself, tell yourself you're beautiful, you're capable, but are you willing to do the work? That's all. If you are willing to do the work, then every day will be a great day. But if you are doubting your capability, which you shouldn't, every human is capable, but the will is not there. So work on your will and look at yourself. You are the best. You are the best. I tell everybody, sounds cocky, sounds arrogant, whatever you want to call it. I am the best. And I don't care because in my mind, I want to be the best. But now I got to work to prove that I'm the best. I got to prove that my actions are the best. And the only way it's going to work is through my will. Basically, one of your guests is Daryl King, Daryl and I, we go a long time. And I love his attitude. He's been doing this for 40 years, over 40 years, but he has the will every day.
Yep.
Every day. He gets up and does it no matter what. Some people don't like the way he operates, the way he has the will. And some people love it. But he is blocking all the noise. He wakes up every morning and he does it. And there are so many other examples in the industry that they basically do the same thing on a daily basis. Wake up in the morning, look at the mirror. You are beautiful. You are capable. Ask yourself, am I willing to do this? And if the answer comes to you that you are not willing to do this, you basically need to dive deep. Maybe this career is not the career for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we talked about success. What makes a top producer with our very, very special guest, broker, owner, and COO at RE/MAX Hallmark Group of Companies, Mr. Steve Tabrizi. Steve, absolutely powerful conversation. I seriously had a slew of other questions I wanted to get into with you today because there just seems like there's so much up there that I could keep taking from and accepting from and leveraging for everybody here. But I want to thank you. Very powerful conversation today. And again, I thank you for joining us on the Mindshare podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. Next one, we're going to do it in person, David.
Done. Deal. I'll be right back with you, my friend. But once again, a big thank you.
Thank you.
You are either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms. Maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And hey, while you're there, be sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle. This is it's a 31-page ebook. It's got a free 90-day social media content calendar. All of it in place to help you build more mind share so that you get more market share. A reminder as well that if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event and or ongoing virtual training, just get in touch with me, my team, any of us. We'll set up a call. We'll learn more about what you're looking to achieve and how we will help you do just that. For all inquiries, just get in touch with us today. Don't forget to leave a review of this podcast at www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. When you get there, it'll either take you to iTunes, Spotify, or any one of your favorite platforms. We'd be very grateful if you could take a quick moment. Big 5 stars, nice little review. Once again, I really, really appreciate you tuning in. Of course, if we haven't yet, let's connect on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan101. Just before we sign off, I want to give a big thank you to Kits Keep in Touch Systems, as well as REM Real Estate Magazine for sponsoring this episode of the Mindshare podcast. Be sure to visit my site to learn more about what these powerful companies will do to help you grow your business. This has been another episode of the Mindshare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.